Shalom, my name is Michael Decker, and I'm a lawyer within the law offices of Cohen Decker, Pex and Brosh. Today I wanted to talk about a specific matter regarding contradictions within a family unification procedure. There are two basically methods in order to open a joint life application for an Israeli that wants to invite a foreign spouse and naturalize the foreign spouse. One is through a marriage procedure, and the other one is through a common law marriage procedure. In both procedures, the couple needs to present documentation before the Interior Ministry. And there is a list, and the list is almost identical in both procedures, but in the marriage procedure, the couple also needs to provide a marriage certificate. However, the marriage certificate is not clear-cut evidence that there is authenticity in their relationship, because today, as you might be aware of, it's not so difficult to obtain a marriage certificate, and any couple can obtain a marriage certificate even if their relationship isn't necessarily authentic. And for this reason, many countries and governments, before they approve to naturalize a foreign citizen, they want the couple to prove the authenticity of their relationship, regardless of whether they're officially married or not even, and regardless of whether they submitted a marriage certificate with an apostille stamp on it. For example, in the United States, they even send inspectors to the houses of couples in order to check that they're really living together. In Israel, the policy or the mode of operation is not to send inspectors to people's houses. However, the Israeli immigration authorities and the Interior Ministry is allowed to do so if it wants. However, the main strategy in Israel to determine the authenticity of a relationship is through what's called authenticity relationship interview, which every couple goes through, and the interviews are separate. And the interviews usually include two separate type of questions. One would be technical list of questions, and the other a more essential list of questions. In the technical list of questions, which you will be surprised, but many couples don't know all the technical information about each other. There are various questions that can be asked, such as the date of birth, the place of birth, the name of the grade school the spouse went to, the name of the high school the spouse went to, the name of the parents, the name of the siblings, the name of the town the spouse lived in, the name of towns where the spouse then moved to as he or she were growing up. And there are many technical questions as such that can be asked, and a couple going to an interview should make sure they know everything possibly that they can think of and imagine about each other on the technical basis. However, naturally, technical questions can also be learned. So even if the relationship isn't authentic, a couple could theoretically learn a lot of technical details about each other and pass an interview. For this reason, there is also an essential test, which is based on essential type of questions that cannot be, that the answers to them cannot be learned in advance. For example, the clerk can ask the couple what was the last movie they went to together, and then from there they can improvise more questions like, what did you do after the movie? And if one spouse says, we met a certain friend and we talked about a certain issue, then the interview for the other spouse will continue on that line of questioning, and they'll ask specifically what was the topic that you discussed with that friend that you met after you watched that specific movie together, for example. And many questions like this can be asked. Basically, this is how the Interior Ministry determines the authenticity of a relationship. However, unfortunately, the Interior Ministry many times looks for ways to reject applications. And I'll give one example that we had a client that wanted to invite a spouse from Colombia. They weren't even living together yet, so the questions weren't as in depth at this stage. But the first rejection, one of the reasons for it was because the Israeli spouse did not prove that he's supporting his Colombian girlfriend in any way. And then when he submitted his own personal appeal and proved that he is sending financial aid to his girlfriend in Colombia, then the Interior Ministry rejected his appeal and said that because he's sending aid to his girlfriend in Colombia, it proves that she's taking advantage of him and that the relationship isn't authentic. So there were other contradictions that were raised during the interviews, but when this client came to us, and on the one hand, when he did not mention that he's supporting his girlfriend, the Interior Ministry said that proves that the relationship isn't authentic. And then when he proved that he is supporting his girlfriend, then the Interior Ministry said that also proved that the relationship isn't authentic. That in and of itself proved that the Interior Ministry is looking for every way possible to reject this application. So our office took this case. We submitted an appeal to the Special Appeals Committee. We went before the judge. We explained to the judge it's impossible to appease the Interior Ministry because anything we'll say, the Interior Ministry will find reasons to deny the application. The judge agreed with our arguments and accepted our petition and basically approved the entrance of the girlfriend of the Colombian girlfriend of this Israeli, subject to a bank guarantee. Our office deals with many, many cases of contradictions which arise in authentication examinations. And if you have a situation like this yourself, you can feel free to contact us, and our office will be happy to assist you and help you through this challenge. Thank you very much for your time.